Water is everywhere. We find water in lakes, rivers, oceans, ice, and even underground. There's so much water on Earth that Earth looks like a blue marble from space. We don't know of any other planet that has water the way ours does. Hold up a globe and look at how much blue you see. More than 2/3 of the Earth is covered by bodies of water, mainly oceans. When you look closer and closer and closer, you see more and more places where water is found. As water moves from place to place, it changes shape. The sun heats water to make it rise into the sky where it travels. Water can also change phase from liquid water to ice or disappear into the air as water vapor. No matter what its properties are, the total amount of water on Earth does not change. We can recycle it, but we can't make new water. The number of people on Earth is growing, so we really need to know where all of the water is and how to take care of it. People need water to live. We use it to drink, prepare food, bathe, and to stay healthy. We also use water for cleaning, recreation, shipping, travel, and as a source of food. All fish, animals, and insects need water too. Water is needed for healthy plant growth. Oceans hold most of the world's water. They are large, deep storage areas filled with salt water. Water from land drains and flows into the oceans, where it can be stored for thousands of years. Not only do oceans give us seafood and pretty beaches, but they help to control weather and climate. Oceans provide water for clouds, precipitation, and huge storms like hurricanes. Ocean waters store heat and keep temperatures for islands steady throughout the year. Deep water moves slowly in currents. Ocean currents help to transfer heat around the globe. Oceans have always been used for travel, and they provide a good way to move heavy objects by ship. Even though oceans contain a lot of water, we can't drink it until the salt is removed, and that's not an easy thing to do. Did you know that most of the water on Earth is salt water? If all of the water on Earth were poured into 100 large buckets, 97 of the buckets would be salty ocean water. The oceans are huge, and there is a lot we don't know about them. We do know that they hold a large variety of plants, fish, and other creatures. A scientist who studies oceans is an oceanographer. Lakes are like small oceans, except most lakes are freshwater. They are a place to store water. Most lakes form naturally when water drains into one spot. Sometimes people create lakes when they build dams or when they just want to have water nearby. Lakes can be as small as a soccer field, bigger than a city, or as large as a state. In the United States, the Great Lakes hold most of the fresh water found in the country. These gigantic lakes are big enough to change the weather for cities along their shorelines, keeping them cooler in the summer and giving them moisture for snow in the winter. The amount of water in most lakes depends on how much rain or snow falls over time, so in long periods of dry weather, lake levels can fall. Many communities around the world get fresh drinking water from lakes. When we build or control a lake to give water to a city or town, that lake is called a reservoir. Lakes are home to many different fish and plants. Some lakes freeze in the winter, and the ice may be thick or thin. You've probably noticed that ice floats. Since it floats, there's always water beneath the solid ice, so the fish are okay. Rivers are streams of water that travel downhill. They carry water to lakes or to oceans. The tiniest rivers are creeks or streams. They may be small enough for you to jump across. The biggest rivers may be several miles or kilometers wide. A river may carry water across your town. Longer rivers carry water across a state, and the longest rivers carry water across a whole country. In this map of the United States, you see just some of the rivers that flow through the country. Look even closer at Kansas to see in how many places we find rivers and streams. Rivers and streams can have deep water. It may move fast enough to carry pieces of soil called sediment, along with large rocks. Over time, moving water can wear down rocks and dig deep into the ground. That's called erosion. Even slow rivers can erode rocks and carry sand, soil, and even pollution. Water is heavy, and it's strong enough to hold up a boat. Look at this demonstration. It's a container of water with two holes on opposite sides. We see that water has power to make things move. Moving water has so much power that it can turn water wheels, called turbines, to make electricity. That's called hydroelectric power. A man or woman who studies moving water is a hydrologist. We think of water as the liquid we drink. It moves and changes shape. But when water freezes, it changes phase and becomes ice. When ice does not melt for hundreds of years, it's called a glacier. Glaciers are ice from years and years of snowfall. Glaciers help scientists understand past climate. They sit on land and grow faster than they melt. Most glaciers are in very cold regions where not too many people live. Glaciers are found near the North and South Poles, and also at the tops of very tall mountains. Glaciers do move downhill, but it's so slow that it may only be a few inches or centimeters each day. As slow as they move, glaciers can carve the side out of a mountain. When glaciers reach a lake or ocean, they break into pieces and float as icebergs. The glacier and the icebergs are not salty, they are fresh water. There is more fresh water locked up in the ice of glaciers than you find in all of the lakes of the world, but it is still a small amount. If all of the water on Earth were put into 100 large buckets, only 2 of the buckets would hold the water from melted glaciers. There's one spot to not forget when we talk about water on Earth. It's beneath your feet. Groundwater. It's not on the ground, it's in the ground. Rain and melted snow slowly soak into the ground. That's called percolation. Water percolates down a few feet or hundreds of feet or meters. How far and how fast it goes depends on whether the ground is covered with pavement or sand or soil or grass. Once the water soaks into the ground, layers of clay or rock trap it and create an aquifer. An aquifer is water that is stored underground. Water in an aquifer is usually clean enough to drink, so many cities or people drill wells into the ground and use a pump to get the water. You can build a model of a well with gravel, sand, and a container. After you pour water into your aquifer, try to pump it out. It's not always easy, and the water is not always clear. Plants and trees do a better job of getting groundwater so that they can grow. They pull it up in their roots using capillarity. There are places that are covered with water sometimes, while other times they dry out. Those are called wetlands. Wetlands are important. They provide a home or habitat for many different plants, birds, and animals, including endangered species. Many fish start their lives in wetlands where they are protected from danger. Wetlands help to store floodwater before it runs off and causes damage. Soil and plants in wetlands also trap tiny particles like sediment as they clean up water headed for the oceans. One other important job of wetlands is protecting land and communities by blocking the force of wind and waves from storms coming in from the ocean. The amount of water found in wetlands depends on the season and on how much rain and snow falls over time. Sometimes wetlands are fresh water, sometimes they are salt water. Wherever fresh water from rivers mixes with salt water from oceans, that is called an estuary. Estuaries provide a habitat for sea life, birds, and animals. In the water of an estuary, you find fish and other creatures that spend part of their lives in the ocean and part of their lives in rivers. Estuaries are often popular fishing areas. In estuaries, lakes, rivers, and oceans, the seafood that people eat creates jobs all over the world for fishing and harvesting the food. Water on Earth not only gives us food, but it allows families to earn money to pay for homes and other things they need. Other people earn a living as boat builders or by working on ships. All water on our planet keeps us and the Earth system healthy. Don't forget that nobody really owns the water on Earth. We share it. That means we shouldn't waste it, and everyone must be responsible for making sure that our water quality is good. If the water becomes polluted, it takes a lot of time, energy, and money to clean it up. Polluted water could kill fish and plants, both in the water and around the water. Even if fish don't die and they just become sick, an animal might eat them, and then that animal would become sick. All living things are connected to the water on Earth. When we drain lakes and wetlands to build farms and new communities, we must remember that we are changing ecosystems and habitats. When rivers are blocked to create lakes, people may have to move their homes, while the lives of fish and other creatures are changed. If one farmer uses too much water or allows pollutants to run off into a river, everyone is affected. Use water wisely because it is so important for life and a healthy environment. Now that you are water smart, let's take a quiz. True or false? Number 1. Rivers carry water downhill. Number 2. Most water on Earth is fresh enough to drink. Number 3. There is fresh water frozen in glaciers. Number 4. All lakes are smaller than my city. Number 5. Water is stored below ground in an aquifer. Number 6. All water on Earth is above the ground. Number 7. There is more land on Earth than water. Number 8. Moving water can be used to make electricity. Number 9. Big rocks are too heavy to be moved by water. And number 10. We could live on Earth without water.